if you're thinking about getting into native warm season grass and incorporating it into your system, the first thing I would tell people is that your cost per acre is going to go way down, because most of the time you don't need lime because its target pH is 5-ish. And I have never put nitrogen on mine ever until this year. Was the first time I'd ever did it. And it grew great without it. You can't do that with fescue fields. And you're not going to be able to never put lime out and not put nitrogen out. Now, having said that, the nitrogen I did put out this year, you can clearly tell that those paddocks are producing a little bit more, but I didn't need to do it. It would have produced just fine on its own, but the Eastern Gamma grass that we're starting to incorporate into our system needs nitrogen more than switchgrass or blue stem does. So I had some, so I wanted to pick a couple of fields, just kind of test a blue stem to see how it did with a little bit of extra nitrogen, and it did well. It obviously helped, but I mean, you don't have to spend, $3,000 on some guy with a spreader truck to come out, spread a bunch of nitrogen and spread a bunch of lime for you. I mean, the grass evolved here, the grass thrives here. It doesn't need as much help as grasses that did. So our biggest challenge to start was that I didn't follow the directions. Yeah, I mean, when you go to, Wildlife Resources page and you get the step-by-step details on how to establish a native warm season grass stand, you should follow it. I know a lot of people don't like having to use glyphosate, but if you don't kill those cool season grasses before you plant that native warm season grass, it's not gonna win, especially in that first year. That whole year's root development and anything cool season that's left out there in those fields is just going to shade it out, not compete it. So I learned that the hard way. We don't use a lot of, glyphosate around here, but, it has its uses. Obviously we're not, it's not a staple, but I mean, we have to do what we have to do to make sure that grass, because I mean, fescue's tough. Fescue's going to keep coming back. So every once in a while, you got to go in there and hit it and knock it back to make sure it's not in the way when your natives start to grow. That was the hardest thing for me to get a handle on when we got started, because I didn't want to use it, and I just didn't think I needed it, and I did. And so now when if I do a new paddock or I want to expand a little bit, I just suck it up and do what I got to do. And it clearly makes a difference when you get started. The plateau, the pre-emergent, blue stem, got to have it. Or the weeds will beat it. And so you just got to hold its hand a little bit that first year. And after that, it doesn't need hand holding anymore. It just grows. That's what it's supposed to do. And if you like fire, which we do, it's fun to watch a grass field burn, especially when you have professionals that help you do it, and you just sit back and go, well, at least I know that the professionals have it all under control. But we enjoy manage, and that's another, it's way cheaper to go out and burn 30 acres of switchgrass than it is to put a tractor on there with a bush hog and burn a bunch of diesel fuel. And it actually, fire is good for the ground. It's good for the earth. It's good for the grass. Like you burn a switchgrass field off, and that year the switchgrass is going to be different than it was the year before. I'm not a scientist or whatever, but it's clearly the cows can tell the difference, obviously, by taste, and I can just tell the difference by watching them. And it even changes the color a little bit of it after that first growing season after a burn.